Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I know this guy at college who's pretty blatantly insane, but I think it might just be insane and not weird. Guy named Matt. Came to college with his girlfriend, and she broke up with him right after they got there. Said he was controlling. I don't know. Seems pretty cool. Trained in Krav Maga, always wears expensive clothing, seems well adjusted. We mostly hang out and talk about dumb stuff. One day, starts talking about how he's pretty sure the world used to be magic. Drunk, so I agree. He decides he's going to find the magic. For weeks, it's all he'll talk about. Brings it up constantly. Later in the year, starts to freak out more often. Random bouts of crying, stops sleeping, starts driving drunk all the time. One time, this guy tells him to pick up some litter. He snaps the guy's arm. Starts acting crazier and crazier by the day. But he's my friend, so I just kind of go along with it. Everything culminates at our mutual friend's birthday party. Let's call him Sam. Sam and his girlfriend have been dating for years. The kind of couple where you know they'll end up married. We get invited to the party. We go together to pick up gifts at the mall. I go to some random local store and find a cool book on beer making. Matt goes to a different store in the mall and comes back with a ton of bags. Looks like a lot of shit, but whatever. We go to the party. Sam starts opening his gifts. We're all getting drunk. It's a pretty good time. He likes my gift. I feel pretty good about myself. He opens Matt's gift. It's underwear. Women's underwear. Turns out Matt went and bought one of every pair of Victoria's Secret lingerie from the current line in every color. No one really knows what to say. Matt's just like, "It's for her, man. A gift for both of you." Okay, .jpg. The party continues. At some point, Matt disappears. Later in the night, I'm standing in the kitchen when I hear people start exclaiming loudly. I turn to see Matt dragging himself across the party in an army crawl. He's drooling everywhere, fucking hammered. Trying to crawl to the bathroom to piss, doesn't make it. Pisses himself and keeps crawling towards the bathroom. Finally get my wits together and realize what I'm seeing. Grab him and carry him to the bathroom. We get him all cleaned up, leave quickly. He's super bummed about having pissed himself later. Sam seems offended that Matt bought his girlfriend lingerie. I'm not touching this .jpg. Stay friends with Matt for the rest of the year. He continues to talk about magic and finding dragons and stuff. Will occasionally start crying about how much he misses his girlfriend from the beginning of the year. At one point says, "The pain I feel is the pain of a hero losing his world. Do you understand? I'm like John Jones. I'm like fucking Goku." Okay, man. Whatever. Eventually go on summer vacation. I assume I'll see him when I get back to college. But yeah, he's pretty crazy. Not as crazy as lots of people in this thread, but crazy.
One of my good friends in high school also lived up the road from me at the time. He was normal, but his older brother was basically in the Elite Four of autists. Not only was he obsessed with Michael Jackson, but he dressed as him. Performed as him, both as a hobby and for school talent shows, and later changed his middle and last names legally to Justin Jackson, respectively. Most people at school liked him and supported him when he did his performances at school, whether at the talent shows or randomly in the hall or lunchroom. He would always have his rhinestone glove handy for said occasions. Since I happened to be good friends with his bro, I had the privilege to know much more about him than almost anyone else from school did. There was a chick in his grade he openly had a crush on. She and everyone else knew it, but it was all seemingly sweet and benign to them. Having seen his room on several occasions, once the fog cleared that had been expelled from his fog machine, he bought to get his MJ on in private. I knew that his walls were cluttered with pictures of her. Scribblings of "I love Lacey," and tons of unsent notes written for her. That harmless facade and schoolboy crush angle that everyone at school believed it to be came to an end after one talent show when I was a sophomore and he was a junior. After one of his predictable MJ routines, all the girls were standing around and complimenting him on a job well done, being standard chick-friendly when I saw it happen. She hugged him. A very general hug that I knew he would immediately read far too much into. He did. The days and weeks following his already unhealthy obsession with her was far beyond what it had ever been. Those notes and scribblings, which were once only found in his room, were now out for all to be seen, inside and outside his locker, on and in his books, etched into random desks and tables in random classrooms. Everywhere. Eventually, she was more and more unnerved by it, and went out of her way to avoid him. He would creep her wherever she went, sometimes even outside of school. She eventually confronted him and told him how uncomfortable it all was making her, and politely explained that they aren't a couple, and she doesn't like him like that. He stopped following her after that, but he never stopped making it known that he hadn't stopped liking her. One of the most fucked up things I have ever heard, personally, from anyone, came one day during the following week. My group of friends and myself in gym class were all walking around the top track above the basketball court, talking and bullshitting like we did every day in that class. SJJ, the autist, came walking in at one point, very strangely and with a slight hobble or limp. He came over to us and started talking like he did from time to time. A buddy of mine glanced around at us and asked, "So, what's up with you and Lacey?" just to hear what he had to say about it. He went on for a few minutes about how he just can't stop liking her, and he thinks about her all the time. Then the words came. The words where he described that even though she told him not to bother her, he misses the thrill of it, transitioning right into pointing out that we may have noticed that he was walking strange. He then explained about how the night before, while in the shower, he got to thinking about her. He wanted to find something. He said that next to the shower was some Ajax used for cleaning, and he wondered what it would feel like. All of our mouths hung open in both wonder and disgust. Before any of us could respond, he produced a tape recorder from his pocket and asked if we thought she might want to know what he did for her, and since she told him not to talk to her directly, he thought it might be a decent idea to record it and leave the tape for her to find and listen to. We all said next to nothing, and all walked off in different directions as the bell finally rang. None of us talked to him much after that, and I myself tried to avoid too much conversation with him while at his house hanging with his bro. Oh, and just to clarify, he still does the MJ thing and is a manager at Wendy's. He is 32.
Go to grade school and junior high with this tall, lanky Polish kid with thick glasses, funny looking. We call him Wash, sort of a take on his unpronounceable last name. Kind of kid that would get beat up all his life. Wash decides to become meaner than anybody who would pick on him. Develops this wicked sense of humor. Always has some scathing insult for anybody he comes across. Jocks start hanging out with him so he can help them terrorize the other nerds. I live in fear of Wash. I go out of my way to find a route home from school where I won't run into him or his friends. I never realize that Wash lives on the same street as me, just 2 houses away. I find this out one night when a SWAT team busts down his door to arrest him. The police bring him in for questioning. My mom is a youth counselor. She is brought in to talk to him and gets the story. Wash was a latchkey kid. Some telemarketer kept calling his house. Said his parents had ordered 6 months' worth of discount carpet cleaning and they needed their credit card number. These assholes call every night, sometimes 3 or 4 times. Wash gets fed up, interrupts the sales pitch, says his parents aren't able to come to the phone but they need a big carpet cleaning job. Says he has several credit cards and can use them to pay over the phone. Wash asks what kind of equipment they have. Asks if they can get a large stain out. Lots of liquid spilled, some of it spread out across different rooms. The telemarketer asks what kind. Wash says blood. There was an accident. Telemarketer asks how big the stain is. Wash starts offering cash and asking how soon they can come. He describes several gallons worth of bloodstains and spatters. He must have been convincing. The telemarketers freak out and call the police. After searching the house and interrogating him, everyone realizes that Wash is full of shit. My mom comes home laughing her ass off, asks why I'm not friends with that Wash kid.
My friend Jay told me about a kid named Devin who is a complete psychopath. I'll just tell it the way he told me. Be in 8th grade. No Devin. He's always been different. A complete weirdo. Took pics of animals he'd killed on his phone and showed them to people at random. Always really quiet. Never raises his voice. Also has long-ass fingernails. Never cuts them or washes them. He takes a picture of himself one day and sends it to a girl. Everybody makes fun of him for it. He writes a list of about 50 people he wants to kill. The list is discovered. He's suspended. On the list is the name of one of Jay's friends, Brad. Years later, Devin follows Jay home. Jay sees him standing in the middle of a field, staring at the horizon. Dev turns around when Jay walks past, like he heard him from over 25 feet away. Hey Jay, you know where Brad lives? Nah. Lie. Oh, he said that he had a bike that I could have, but I don't know his address. Jay fake calls Brad and prays that Dev doesn't call his bluff. Dev believes Jay when he says that Brad said to fuck off. Dev gets right in Jay's face and says, louder than he's ever spoken, "You don't fucking tell Brad I wanted to find him, okay? Forget it."
I was the weird kid. I'll share until I fall asleep texting this shit out, I guess. First weird thing I did, 4th grade. Went to ghetto after-school care at my elementary school. 2 ladies run it. We all sit in the cafeteria and wait for parents to show up, play with toys, etc., etc. They randomly turn into bitches halfway through the year and consistently assign us to write, "I will not talk." Line after line after line until parents pick us up. Parents think it's bullshit that they do that too, but can't really do much about it, because it's after-school care for cheap. I know what I must do. Deep. Proceed to make a poison in secret, the actual potency of which I will never know. Started out with soap and water, mixed in hand sanitizer, emptied out ink pens inside of it, bled markers dry into it. Literally was just putting anything that my 4th grade brain thought was bad to ingest at the time. After a week I had something so vile that I got headaches when I tried to work on it or stir it. Bring it to school and leave to the bathroom as school is ending so I can get to the cafeteria super quick. There. Do this for a couple weeks as much as I can until I finally have the chance to empty my poison in one of their unguarded drinks. Was probably a very unsubtle 40% poison and 60% whatever she drank. Don't know what I expected, but her gagging immediately upon taking a deep slurp from her cup and running to a trash can was pretty cool. She takes in a huge breath through her nose, face in the drink, gags again, gets pissed and yells at everyone. I'm never found out and I'm still not sure what my endgame was. This obviously did not get us to write less sentences.
be 9 years old hanging out with a group of friends. A girl named Cassidy tagged along with us for a bit. My mom, my friends, and I felt bad for her 'cause we visited her apartment once and it was dark, smelled like cat piss and dirty. She smelled like cat piss too. Kind of unbearable to stand too close to her, but she seemed mostly normal at first. Walked to the corner store for slushies, walked to the park around the back alley. Cassidy decides to jump in the dumpster. My friends and I are kind of weirded out. She roots around there for a bit. We tell her that's disgusting and we want to leave for the park. She peeks her head out. She is holding a pile of rotten, uncooked hamburger meat in one hand. One of the more mature friends nervously says, "Cassidy, what are you doing? Don't you dare." She takes a bite out of it, exaggeratedly chews on it, shows it to us. When she comes out of the dumpster, she laughs for like 15 minutes. Not really a creepy laugh, but like she was proud and nonchalant about something. We get to the park, but all make excuses about going home. We meet up later and never hang out with her again. See her a few years later in high school. I say, "Cassidy, is that you?" But she stares at me and pretends she doesn't know me. Completely normal, albeit a bit of an outcast from what I've seen. Another story, but this time from high school. Involves kids, but they're not the creepy ones, senior year. Decide to go to a park to read a book. As I'm walking there, there's a group of kids. The oldest one is about 12 and the youngest about 7, standing around by the sidewalk. Think they're just hanging out, about to walk past them. The oldest one, named Joshua, shyly says, "Hey, yeah? Can you please walk us home? There's a man around here following us and the little kids are getting really scared. Motherly instincts kick in. I'm small, but I will fight dirty if anyone lays a hand on these kids." Okay, let's go. Don't really see anyone, but I make sure they all get home just in case. By the time I get them all home, it's almost dark and I'm feeling pretty paranoid myself, so I book it home. See them around after class. They're actually very nice and playful kids. One evening I see them near my apartment, wave at them and continue on. A few moments later, I hear Joshua scream, "Lydia! Lydia!" Turn around. There's a man, white-collared shirt, black jeans, looking like he's grabbing one of the girls, but he drops and pushes her away and runs off. Run to her, get her on her feet, tell Joshua to round everyone up now and make sure no one is missing. Report to the police. They say they will search and keep a lookout. School got really busy then, but I gave Joshua my cell phone number just in case he needed something. Sometimes he would call me and talk about weird shit happening to him and the kids, like he'd find little houses made of twigs at his front door, or one brother and sister were home alone with an older brother, and they kept hearing tapping on the windows. This freaked the shit out of me. I was scared for them and for me. One day I get called down to the office. I'm sweating in fear.mp3. I find Joshua with one of the youngest girls and an even younger boy. What's going on? Almost in tears, he says he was looking after these 2 kids and someone kept knocking on the door. So they ran out the back and came here. Call the police again, give them hell about this creep who is stalking these kids. Take them out for burgers and fries. Tell their parents they are all right. They are freaking out and shouting at the cops, too. I dropped them back home where the parents of the 2 younger kids picked them up. The neighborhood is starting to talk and get ultra paranoid, pissed off at this persistent, disgusting creep, and exhausted because finals and making sure these kids don't die. I walk out the back and hide behind a shed where they kept their garbage bins. See a man walking down the street, Light blue collared shirt, black jeans. Looks like the guy I saw. Follow him home. My heart is about to explode out of my chest. What if he finds out I'm following him and drags me into his home? I don't want to become a fucking skin lamp. Text Joshua. I am following him. Not my parents, because they would flip shit and call the cops. But I wanted to end this. Joshua texts back. Please, please, please don't. Please, please, Anon, don't. Shitting pants in fear, but also adrenaline rush. He goes into an alley behind the school. Oh God. I walk here all the time as a shortcut. He goes into his backyard. I'm standing a ways back. I didn't actually make a plan for what I'd do if we came to his house. See him go inside. Root around in someone's recycling bins for a bottle. Hope he doesn't come outside and drag me in, or the owners don't come outside and call the cops on me. Hear crunching behind me. See a figure standing in the backyard. It's dark as shit and there's a little bit of light coming from the houses, but he's as dark as a shadow. I'm hyperventilating, mentally asking myself why the hell I did this. Why am I so stupid? I hope they find my body. I don't want to die. Smash the bottle on the fence. Hold it in front of me. Get the fuck away from me. Quickly scan that son of a bitch. He's holding something. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? It looks like the limp body of a small girl. Get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from those kids. He says in a very soft voice. I don't. Drop her. Drop her. Fucking drop her. Someone finally comes out of their house. What the hell is going on out there? A man from the house is holding a rifle looking out. Oh, thank God. Leave those kids alone. Please call the cops. He's holding something. The man points the gun at the creep, yells for his wife to get the flashlight out of the plastic bag drawer, shines the light on him. He is holding a fucking rag doll. The man in the house says, Don't fucking move, sir. I've got a gun. We're calling the cops. I look hard at him, still defensive. He's just staring at me like he's high, but he could lunge for me any second. I suddenly sprint for the man and his wife's house. The cops come and arrest him. The dude didn't have a previous record. Limited news coverage because all kids were underage and parents raised hell not to have it on the news, but started donating a bunch of money to the neighborhood watch. Try to hide my part in it because I didn't want the attention, and was strangely paranoid about, well, everything now.
So the guy got arrested for having a rag doll at night, and you threatened him with a broken bottle? Were you even sure it was the same guy that was harassing those kids?
The kids were obviously asked to identify the man. Lydia, the girl who was grabbed, said that was him. I remember later she told me that he smelled like the stuff Mommy puts on her hair to color it. I admit I was lucky. I was paranoid and scared, and I thought anyone in a collared shirt and black jeans might have been him. But I swear he looked familiar, and he had the same bald head. If he didn't come out of his house when he did, I would have doubted myself and went home. But he did.
Go to middle school with this kid named Drew. Got hit by a car and had permanent brain damage and a lump on his forehead. Apparently got a pretty nice settlement. One day he comes up to the lunch table me and my friends are sitting at. Drew sits right across the table from me and produces a plastic spoon from his lunch bag. Looks me dead in the eye and says, "One day this spoon will rule the world." At this point, I'm not really sure what the correct response is, so I laugh awkwardly. For his next act, Drew takes an apple out of his lunchbox. Man, I fucking hate this apple. He puts it on the table and smashes his forehead on it, causing the apple to explode everywhere. At this point, his wrangler has taken notice and is coming over to grab him. Drew screams, "I'm a free man!" and slaps her across the face with his PB and J and books it towards the locker bank, chunks of apple still all over him. The aide, still covered in sandwich goo, gives chase. Drew continues to shout, "I'm a free man," periodically throwing food from his lunch bag at the aide. My friends and I sit around the table in stunned silence, staring at the apple and peanut butter and jelly mess, and a single spoon with imperial ambitions.
House next door to me always had people moving in and out constantly. No one ever stayed for more than a year. A lot of times when no one was living there, I'd go sneak into the backyard to play. It was enclosed with a privacy fence and kind of my own personal world. My favorite time was at night because the garage had a floodlight. It lit up the backyard with this soft blue light that just made me feel comfortable and safe. There was a corner near the back where the light barely touched. This was my safe zone. In the fall, a new family moved into the house. They apparently had a kid about my age. Never saw him outside, though. Apparently, he didn't go to my school. One night during the summer, I was outside when I noticed that the gate was open. I saw what I assumed was the kid that lived there in the backyard. I talked to him, but don't remember what we talked about. The rest of the summer, on a regular basis, I'd go outside at night and talk with him. Not play, just talk. I think we talked about space, but I can't recall exactly. Can't even remember his name now. Would never see him during the day, and every night it would be like he was waiting for me. They eventually moved away really abruptly, and no one moved into the house again for several more years, at which point my family moved. Honestly, though, I was probably the strange kid for hanging around in someone else's backyard.
Back in high school, there was this kid that everyone called Luigi because he was tall, skinny, and had a full mustache since 7th grade. He was obsessed with dragons and was always bringing books about them or drawings he found on the internet of them to school. He started going around telling everyone he was a dragon in a past life. Some girl asked him as a joke if, since he was a dragon in a past life, that meant he loved other dragons. He said yes. She asked him if he still wanted a dragon. He said yes. He told a friend of mine that his ultimate fantasy was to lure a dragon to an abandoned warehouse, drug it, put on a suit of armor, and walk into it. Luigi also claimed he was going to build a tank in shop class and kill everyone in school with it.
I think I was a pretty weird kid. To be fair, my home life was a wreck. My mom was a drug addict prostitute. The electricity was turned off half the time. I also had a very serious medical condition that went undiagnosed until my mid-20s. I was in pain, hungry, sick, and delirious most of the time. Because my mom never hid her activities, I didn't realize that degeneracy and drugs were not a normal topic of conversation. I would ask other kids really inappropriate questions like, "Oh, your older sister is looking for a summer job. Has she ever thought about filming with a Rottweiler? I hear that pays pretty well." But mostly I was just a loner who read books under my desk instead of participating in class and lived in a daydream world. For a while in junior high, I was really into X-Men comics. I convinced myself that the way out of my shit life was that one day when puberty hit, I would find out I had cool mutant powers and my body would stop feeling pain all the time. I drew comics about it, made up my own superhero theme song, and started making a costume. I went to this vacant lot after school where I could make up my own martial arts moves. One day I was hanging out there pretending to be a mutant ninja, wearing my spandex pants and singing my song when a group of guys from school found me. They had climbed through the bushes to get to the vacant lot so they could smoke pot in peace. They just stood there, stunned, and then started laughing. Then one of them picked up my sketchbook. I ran away and never came back. They didn't make fun of me for it at school, but it was still awkward as hell. Really, those guys were okay. They could have made my life hell at school, but they didn't. After Columbine happened and my teachers and peers were giving me a hard time, saying that I was a weirdo loner and probably the next school shooter, these same guys told people to lay off and stop bullying me. Wherever you are, kind stoners, thanks. You guys were real bros.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.